name's Don McCollum. I'm from the Kansas City area. I've been in laryngectomy for about 15 years. I have a family, wife and 4 children, but my children have grown used to it. I think in the beginning stages of being a laryngectomy, it was scary, not knowing what people would think or how they would respond. But I've learned that if it doesn't bother me, it usually doesn't bother them, and I just keep talking. I talked a lot before being a laryngectomy, and some people are kind of disappointed it didn't slow me down. I still talk as much as I used to. I've recently started substitute teaching in the Raymore Peculiar School District. I teach in anything from kindergarten to high school. The kindergartners usually ask the most questions, and class usually goes a lot better once I convince them that I'm not a robot. So, but I've enjoyed that a lot. Get a lot of questions. They get an education on anatomy and how speech works, their voice boxes, and how this little machine replaces their vocal cords.
I was told at Mayo Clinic that my esophageal speech is easier if I speak softer. It's also a lot of the consonants that we use automatically put air down into our esophagus, which makes it easier to speak. But sometimes I try to just practice and see how many words that I can say before swallowing air, like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. But I used to just try to say that as many times as I could, and it just built up strength, I think. But it's nice to have 2 forms of speech, to have an alternative, especially if your battery runs out in your electronic larynx, or your kids take a battery and hide it and think that it's funny. It's always nice to have an alternative way to speak.
My name is Larry Durst. I'm a farmer, rancher, and cattleman from north central part of Kansas, right up next to the Nebraska line. And I first discovered I had throat cancer in summer of 2009. So November the 3rd of 2009, I had my voice box removed and become a laryngectomy. After that period of time to communicate, I started out with just a razor board for the first few weeks. And then I moved up to a electronic speech anyway. And that worked pretty good, got along real well with that. And then about 5 months after that, 4 months after that, I guess, went in and put the prosthesis in, which was just a minor surgery to put that in. And I've been speaking with that ever since. And I wondered how speech would be afterwards, but I was very encouraged by a man that I visited with on the phone prior to my surgery. And I spoke to him over the phone. He'd had his surgery for several years. That really encouraged us. I want to be like that guy. I want to be able to talk on the phone because a lot of my business is on the phone. So I was able to get back on the phone, use cell phone, regular phone, doesn't matter. Within a matter of months, just right after I got my prosthesis put in, I was communicating again over the phone. Another little side story, kind of interesting. I had taught Sunday school, my adult Sunday school class for 25 years, and I thought, maybe I won't be able to do that again. But right after I had the prosthesis in, which was about 5 months after my surgery, I had my first class. It was interesting. Everybody moved up real close. They thought they couldn't hear me. After that, everybody moved back and said what they always did. We've never changed anything since, and I've taught every Sunday since then, so it's been a year and a half, I suppose. It really is, it's a kind of a story about an old saying you've heard, it's not what happens to you in life, it's how you deal with what happens to you in life. And that was something I've become really aware of. And, we all have things, stuff in our lives that happen we have to deal with. But, you just decide to move forward and move on just like everyone else does. Also, it became pretty clear to me too that it doesn't just happen to you, it happens to people around your family and so on. So everything you can do to make life more normal for them is better for you and for them. So that's what I've tried to do, and it's been worked out really well. I continue to go in and I'm still on boards, go to meetings, and I just continue with life, go to kids' ball games, and just do life just like I did before.